We are now just 2 months away from the release of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. And this is a game that I've been looking forward to ever since its announcement, because this seems to be so much more than just a regular farming sim. As in this, not only will you do all of your farming sim stuff that you're probably used to if you've played other Story of Seasons games, so yes, the Tronky cows are still here, but as the newest resident of the town of Zephyr, it somehow falls onto your shoulders to try and bring the town back to its former glory. And in order to do that, you need to sell your farm's produce at the weekly bazaar. And today we're going to cover absolutely everything you need to know before you buy Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. And I just want to thank Story of Seasons for not only sponsoring this video, but also giving us a ton of extra information and footage so you can make the best decision. And just to know, all of the footage that you're going to see today is actually from the PC version of the game. Now, this game is actually inspired by the original Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar that was first released on the DS in 2008. And in case you didn't know, even though the name is changed from Harvest Moon to Story of Seasons, this is the same development team who made all of the originals. Now, I think a lot of people think this is a remake, when I don't think that does this justice. Because not only has the graphics themselves been upgraded, not just when you compare it to the original Harvest Moon game, but I also feel like this is a step up for the whole Story of Seasons franchise. But the gameplay itself is also upgraded, as they took all the elements that made the original so special and decided to enhance and build upon those. And this included not only changing the game to be 3D, but also making the map larger. And I will say, this town is absolutely gorgeous. They also added in more dateable characters, weather systems, nature sprites, and even more, which we're going to get into further into the video. And if you're someone like me who's never actually played the original, I think this game does a lot to spice things up from the normal farming sim routine. You see, the whole idea of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is that the farming has a purpose outside of just making you money. Now, the gameplay loop itself kind of works a little bit differently for this game, as it will see you work on a weekly timetable instead of daily. And whilst at first it's kind of a normal farming sim routine, where you not only have crops to look after and water each and every day, you can also then go and tend to the animals. And yes, there's still Tronky cows, which you can even pet, which I love. You can then take all the resources that you gathered and go and process them. And in this game, you do that by taking them to a windmill, as the town of Zephyr is all about wind power. And one really cool feature is that the weather will actually affect how fast your items get processed. So the windier the day, the faster all your processing will happen. So you can really start to plan things around the weather. And if that's not enough to fill your day, you can also cook your ingredients to make meals, you can fish, you can forage, you can talk to the locals, and you can also catch bugs. But where I think the game truly starts to get interesting is on Saturdays, as this is market day. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Zephyr used to be a once great town, drawing in stalls and customers from every corner of the globe. It is now more or less empty. And now the town pins its hopes on your very stall in order to bring the town back to life. And this is by far the most interesting feature to me, as I love a good shop sim. So as you can see, you begin your day with deciding what produce you want to sell. And with 24 slots to fill, let's hope you've been busy in the last week or so in order to make enough. Then once the market starts, it's your job to put all the produce out and try and attract the customers in by ringing your bell. They'll then come on over, tell you exactly how much they want to buy and give you the money. And as time goes by and more of your items get bought, you can replace them with other things in order to get the maximum profit you can and hopefully sell out. But I think my favorite part by far is the fact that not only can you choose what products to sell, but over time you can upgrade your market and even decorate it, which I think is a really cool touch. The market is also a great time for you to go around and buy things you need to make your farm bigger and better. This can include not only buying brand new animals, but also pets. Yes, you heard that right, plural, because you can have more than one pet. You can also buy brand new upgrades, not only to your market, but also your fields and even your barns. And you'll even be able to change your own appearance. You see, the market stall isn't just there as a way to make you money, because if your market stall is good enough, it's going to gain the attraction of passers-by. And if they're interested enough, they might decide to even open up their very own shop in the town if you do something for them. And bit by bit, as not only your farm grows, but so too does your market stall, you'll be able to attract not only more customers to your market, but also more vendors. And over time, you'll get to see the town of Zephyr grow. So that's more or less what the gameplay loop is looking to be, but there's also a few other features that have really caught my eye. And first up is the romance and also the friendships. As not only are there 12 romanceable characters, there's also a ton of villagers that you can also befriend. But that isn't the thing that caught my eye. What is the voice acting. As it looks to be that a lot of the friendship and romance cutscenes are fully voice acted.
I was honestly a little worried that I was talking too much. The way your eyes lit up during my explanation made me get carried away, I think.
Which really is not a common thing to see in farming sims at all. And I love that it's an addition with this one. The other thing which I noticed is the children. You see, this seems to have taken a little bit of inspiration from Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life, as if you have a kid with one of the characters, you'll actually get to see them grow up. Now, whilst this isn't exactly like Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life, because your child won't fully grow up, the developers have said that they'll age to about 5 to 7 years. And one other really cool feature is the fact that the child will take some of the parents' hair and eye color as well, so they'll even get to look like you. And normally I'm not someone who really cares for romance in farming sims, but I do think for me that voice acting makes a huge difference. This is also a game where not only can you jump, which is still somehow revolutionary in the farming sim genre, but you can also glide around the town to get wherever you need to go. And you know, I mentioned earlier about all the different weather conditions and how it affects farming. Well, it also affects how you get around the town, as you'll find the wind is going to have a pretty large effect on how you can glide as well. And considering there are hurricanes in this game, you're going to want to be a little bit careful. But I really do love this feature, as it makes getting around what looks to be a very beautiful town so much easier. And you've even got these spots where you get to look out across the countryside, although admittedly it is a little bit prettier when it's not a hurricane. They've also added a quality of life feature, which I really like, which are these storage boxes dotted around the entire town. This just means that whenever your bag's full, you don't have to run all the way back home to try and dump off some of your stuff, which I think is great. Now, obviously, I didn't get to see everything which is new in this Story of Seasons, but one thing I did get to see is the horse derby. This looks to be just such a fun little mini game that you can go and do. We also know that there's going to be events. We've seen an example of the crop show, but the website also seems to hint at a pet related show as well, which I think I would love. So I can't wait to see what other events and surprises the game has in store, especially as the seasons pass. Despite the fact that this is inspired by a game that was made nearly 20 years ago, so much of this just seems to be so refreshing. And I think this is going to be a game that's not only fantastic if you're a brand new Story of Seasons player, but also if you're someone who's been playing from the very beginning, as this truly feels like a brand new era for Story of Seasons. And thankfully, we don't have much longer to wait until we finally get our hands on the game, as this releases on August 27th on Steam, Nintendo Switch, and there's also going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition as well. And by the way, the physical edition of the Switch 2 version has the entire game on the game cartridge, so no game keys here. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition will be more expensive, but it will have an increased resolution and frame rate when compared to the Nintendo Switch version, and they'll also make use of the inbuilt mouse features as well. If you don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 yet, you can always pick up the Switch version, play it for a bit, and when you get a Switch 2, upgrade it to that version later on. One thing to bear in mind as well is there's actually a couple of different editions of the game that you can purchase. Now, first of all, we do have the fact that you can either buy Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar physically or digitally. Now, if you're looking to buy the game digitally, there are 3 different versions that you can buy. First of all, we have the Digital Standard Edition, which not only comes with the base game, but essentially comes with the cow set DLC for free as well. And this will give you a cow costume, cow headwear, and a cow glider. You can also get the Digital Deluxe Edition. This not only comes with the base game and cow set DLC, but also the Trunk of Transformation DLC as well. Now, this comes with a whole set of different animal costumes, ninja outfits, and additional hairstyles. But do note, this is all purely cosmetic. Then finally, if you're buying digitally, you can also buy the Super Digital Deluxe Edition. This comes with everything you get in the Digital Deluxe Edition, plus a digital soundtrack and digital art book. Now, if you're buying physically, there's a couple of different editions that you can buy as well. First of all, you can just buy the Standard Edition on Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. Do note though, the Standard Edition will come with no DLC, unlike the Standard Digital Edition. You can also buy the Premium Edition, which comes with an original soundtrack CD, a plushie, a poster, and an art book as well. But again, there's no DLC included with this edition either. If you do buy physical and want the DLC, it will be available to buy on the eShop. That's it for everything you need to know about Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And if you want to wishlist the game, you can check the link in the description down below.